Yep, it's story time. So, just another quick horse story I've got here. The image that I've got on the screen right now is a drawing that I did of the horse I used to own called Oscar, and that is kind of what he looks like, and that's what he looks like when he shams self. Yeah, he looks like he could be a real scary at times. Like he like it was bins that he didn't like. No, not just bins. It was the he didn't mind the black bins, he didn't mind the green ones, he didn't mind the blue one, he didn't mind the brown ones. It's the blue ones he didn't like every single time. And keep in mind, horses don't have the best perception of colour. They can only see like certain colours, so how he was afraid of the blue bin of all things is beyond me. But anyway, I was just thinking about a situation that happened to me a few years ago, because I don't own him anymore. I had to sell him because I had a surgery several years ago. But I know his owner, he's doing very well with her, and she's looking after him perfectly, which is fantastic. But anyway, I remember one day that I was riding him on a cycle track, and which is perfectly legal, by the way. Remember this fact for me. And we go to this tunnel. Now it was another meter above me, so it wasn't too small, but it was dark all the way through, and it wasn't a long tunnel. It wasn't long, but he couldn't see. He could only barely see the light at their side, and I just gave him a little nudge to say, "Hey, go on, go through the tunnel," because it was the only way to get to where I wanted to take him to a wooded area where we could go for a gallop. Because I knew he would love it. My friend recommended it, and he was just like, "Nope, forget that, Mum. I'm going home. You can go ahead. I'm going home." And so I basically just had to, gently encourage him, like, if you go in, there are bears not going to jump out and eat you. So after a bit of encouragement, I managed to get him to go about a quarter of the way through. And at the last second, he lost his nerve and ran back out, which is okay. That's perfectly fine. I needed him to know that, if he gets scared, if it's too much, he can run out. He's not gonna get trapped. Though it's not one way. He can turn around and run away if he's scared, which is fine. That happened a couple of times. It took us about 20 minutes, a bit longer, but he eventually managed to go through it. He was jumpy as hell going through it. He practically trotted his way, but I kept him a walk. I kept him calm. I didn't talk to him too much, because I just thought that would upset him more. You could hear his hoofbeats inside the tunnel. It echoed, which worried him a wee bit, so I kept quiet. I just gave him nudges with my legs. I don't wear spurs, by the way. I never have. I never will wear them. I don't like them. So I was giving him little nudges. I was giving him his head, let him have his head up. Since I use a bit, I put my hands quite far forward to give him his head so he could have a look around. So he was fine. We got through the tunnel eventually, and then we got out, and then there's a person on a bike who. Here's the thing. Judging by this guy's body language, I knew he had never been around horses, because he jumped out of his skin whenever Oscar so much as flinched or moved his ears or kick a fly on his belly or something. And he went to me. He was like, "What are you doing making that horse go through a tunnel like that?" And I'm like, "Well, why shouldn't I make him go through the tunnel?" And he was like, "Horses are afraid of the dark. They can't go in the dark. They can't see. You're being cruel." And I was like, "No, I'm not being cruel. I'm sacking him out." And he was like, "Well, what the hell does that mean?" I was like, "I'm showing him that the tunnel's nothing to be afraid of. He can go in and out it without, many problems." "That's not true. Horses can't see in the dark. You're a cruel rider. I saw you kicking him." No, kicking. I was giving little nudges on his belly just to say to him, "Oi, I'm here. Listen to me." And it's just this guy, like, I said, "Listen, I wasn't being cruel to him he's like, why didn't you just get off him?" Like, if he really would go through with me on him, yes, I would get off him and I would walk him through, and which basically means, look, I could walk through without something happening to me. And we had a pretty good bond, Oscar and I, so he, I'd probably go through a tunnel and be like, "Oh, Mum, where are you going? Wait for me." So, this guy, I was thinking, I've been riding horses since I was 3. So I think I know a bit more about horses than this guy. I don't know how old he was, but just the way he was looking at Oscar and the way he was acting around him, he hadn't been around horses as far as I can tell. So he was like, "Yeah, you're sacking out, whatever it's called. It's cruel. You shouldn't make him do it. Horses are too easily scared." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, Oscar's he's a big baby. He's not stupid. He knows when something's not going to hurt him." I mean, the one thing that I remember Oscar being afraid of was anything that made the sound of a motor. Like, for example, the farmer of the guy who owned the farm where I kept him, he was always doing manual work. So he'd be using buzz saws and chainsaws and stuff like that, lawnmowers. Oscar hated them. It probably sounded, I don't know, maybe to him it sounded like a growl of a big cat or something that was going to eat him. So I think every time he heard a lawnmower, he'd be like, "Oh shit, Mom, Mom, I don't like this. I'm getting out of here." But he was a good boy. He had his moments. He was young. He was young when I got him. I think he was only like 4. They say he was 5, but I swear he was like 3.5, 4. It just amazes me when people who don't know about horses, you say, "Never go for that tunnel again, you'll scare him." Hey, we went for our gallop, we had a great time. He was tired and sweaty, I was tired and sweaty, so we made our way back. He went through that tunnel with mild protests, like he would lift his head and shake his head a wee bit and snort, and he didn't really want to go for it, but after a bit of persuasion he would go for it, and he never had problems with that tunnel again. So desensitizing them to something isn't a bad thing. I mean, he wasn't a bad horse. He was very clever. He is very clever. And it's just with people, like, I'm clearly having enough problems trying to get him to move myself. I don't need someone else jumping in, especially someone on a bike who knows virtually nothing about horses. So, yeah, that's just a wee story that I just wanted to say and just vent a little bit. So, that's that. I'll probably make another one at some point. Like I've said before, I have a few of these stories. So anyway, thanks for listening. Have a good day. Thanks, guys. Cheers.